Well, many in the media will never give Trump a win no matter what. We're seeing so-called fact checks published like this one, a meticulous breakdown of Trump's desperate attempt to take credit for the Starliner crew's return. Well, the internet also in an uproar about whether or not the term stranded even applies here.
So what is the real story of this spectacular come down, splashdown, return to Earth for these astronauts who stayed instead of 8-9 days, almost 10 months? Acting NASA Administrator Janet Petro is here to discuss. Janet, I'm just going to lay it on the line. That article we referenced from Gizmodo referred to you as a dutiful stooge. What do you say to that? And what do you say to the SpaceX-led, Elon Musk-led, Donald Trump-led return of Sunita and Butch?
So thank you, Dagan and Guy, for having me on this evening. And I was super excited to see that splashdown. I think most of America hopefully was watching that gentle splashdown in the Gulf of America yesterday. And by the way, I was sitting in NASA's Space Operations Center with a friend of yours, the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, and we had a really good time watching that whole event. And I have to say, I got to thank President Trump for his dedication and his engagement and his commitment to bringing those astronauts home. We did receive a call in January and worked very closely with NASA team worked very closely with SpaceX to bring those astronauts safely home. And so I hats off to President Trump, hats off to the NASA and the SpaceX team for leaning in. We did expedite the mission, so we moved it to the left. We had to do some unique mission planning to get it to bring them home sooner. And that involved, working with the Crew 10. We wanted to launch Crew 10, bring that crew up to the International Space Station, and then do a handover with the crew already at the International Space Station. And we do that for a lot of reasons, so that they can understand the configuration. But we did make that essentially a couple-day handover. So we did shorten that to bring Butch, Sonny, Alex, and Nick back safely. But, this is a 10th operational mission of crew up to the station on a Dragon vehicle. And so we've gotten better and better every time, and we were able to expedite it and bring them home safely.
Yeah, with that footage, the dolphins leaping, it's so cinematic. I do want to ask you, based on what you just said, if the previous administration had engaged SpaceX sooner, could the astronauts you just mentioned have come home months ago?
So I was not there, so I really can't comment on whether they could bring them home sooner. I do know that once we were tasked by the president, NASA and SpaceX really leaned in to make to get it done. And we brought Butch and Sonny home. They are now at the Johnson Space Center, and they are going through their recovery program, which will take about 45 days to 2 months with a tailored program. The flight docs are taking really good care of them there. And you saw them when they came off the ship. They all gave the thumbs up. So it was super exciting to see that.
Janet, thank you for being here, and please come back, because this is the beginning of something spectacular the whole of the country gets to watch. Thank you.
Thank you, Dagan and Guy.